Okay, so I would like to call our governing council meeting to order on June 30th at 3:03 p.m. Can we get a roll call, Ms. Pahi?
Sure. Dr. Reyes,
Present.
Angel Rivera,
Here.
Linnell Pahi here.
Okay. Um, and then Karen, if you wouldn't mind throwing up the flag real quick for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sure.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. Okay, we'll try and keep this moving. Public comments are next. So this is any item on our agenda. If you do have a public comment that you would like to address to the board, feel free to raise your hand or put a comment in the chat and you can be promoted.
We do have 30 attendees, but I'm not seeing any hands raised nor names in the chat.
Okay. Sounds good. Okay, so let's move on to the next agenda item then, the approval of the agenda. I will make a motion to approve the agenda as written for this meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Just do a here.
Roll call.
Roll call. Dr. Reyes,
Yes.
Angel Rivera,
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes.
Okay. Just a quick comment. There weren't any meeting minutes for approval this time. We haven't hit the 10-day mark from the meeting that ended last Monday. So those and the meeting minutes from this past Thursday meeting and these minutes will all be approved on the July 9th regularly scheduled meeting. Okay, so let's move right into business, governing council business. The first item on our agenda is going to be the RIF discussion. And so I will turn it over to Ms. Black for the discussion.
Good afternoon, board members. How are we today? All right, so after a lot of discussions, let me pull up the RIF plan here. Do I just go over all the parts or just kind of the highlighted parts?
Karen, can I have you help answer that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we only just linked it on the agenda because I didn't have it till today, so the board members haven't seen it. So I think it's up to you, Ms. Black, but I would share it maybe and just go over the key highlights. Of course, this does not reveal any specific names or who's being cut, so it's appropriate to share publicly. So I think that's how I would proceed.
Okay.
All right, and ignore my excessive amount of tabs open. All right, so can you guys see this? All right, so basically we were looking at challenges with low enrollment at the high school level. So the board decided to go ahead and move us to a K-8 model. In order for that to work, we are going to have to RIF some positions. Some of the good news is that we really won't have to RIF a significant number of people because we have eliminated some positions by attrition, people who have resigned, moved to other jobs. So we have 5 positions that will be eliminated by attrition, but we will unfortunately have to RIF 3 teachers and 2 staff. We still have Ed Fellows, which we can't RIF. They are paid through the state. And of course, we won't RIF any special education teachers because it is difficult to find them. Dr. Hole and I talked a lot about kind of what positions we needed in order to be successful moving forward. She did come up with a Rift sheet that has points and use those points to decide kind of what staff was on the Rift list. So, oh gosh, I don't know what other information you need to know about specific positions that are being riffed without it breaching confidentiality.
At this time, no, all the board needs to approve, Ms. Black, is the idea of the RIF plan and this basic outline that's required. The numbers that you have on there from my template are the questions that have to be answered. And then they have to decide if it's appropriate to move forward with the RIF. If so, then you would use your rating sheet as indicated in here to determine the positions to be cut. So this is just governing board approval for the RIF plan. And no, you do not share. Next steps would be, if approved, next steps would be that you would meet with the specific people affected and work on the domino effect from there, if any.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, are there any questions from the board on this? I've read it through several times and already, so I don't have any questions left on this. We did verify with Josh that this also meets the numbers intent to set us up for success based on the budget that was presented last meeting or the meeting before that was approved.
So.
There are no questions for Ms. Black. I think the next step is a motion to approve from someone.
I wasn't sure if they were
I was-
reading or if they
Sorry,
were.
I was giving Ms. Pahi a chance to read through the document as Angel and I have seen it multiple times.
My apologies.
That's okay. Thank you.
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, then I make a motion that we vote to approve this RIF plan as written.
I'll second that motion.
Take a vote. Dr. Reyes,
Yes.
Angel Rivera,
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Reading this.
Then what's
Yep.
that?
No, I was just saying passes 3-0 and then go ahead.
Okay. The next items on the agenda are the discussion and action on all contracted services that are not yet decided. So based on the withdrawal of the Alliop contract last meeting, we have done some extensive work trying to reach out to different contracted services to see where we can fill in some of those gaps so the gaps do not fall solely on the school. And we have been, we've made some pretty significant progress. We do have proposals from charter school testing to help with, hang on, find my notes on this. For ELL, all the different testing for kindergarten, dyslexia, New Mexico, MSSA, iStation, etc. All of those testing requirements and assessment requirements. And then we have a estimate and quote from JMP Academy, which will help with the special education services, data reporting, state reporting, master scheduling, PS security or support, those kind of things. And then the last one was the proposal for a compliance officer and governing council support from Sam Gonzalez, and who also is going to help with the charter renewal process for this year, since that is going to be a huge item. So I would like to just share each of them so we can kind of walk through them and talk to them. Let me pull them up real quick. And because of our time constraints at this point, we only have an official proposal from Sam. The others we just have estimates for. So more than likely, we will just have to approve the amounts on the proposals and the estimates. And then Christine and I could be effectively voted into a subcommittee to finalize all of that contract work that would then go along with that. So hang on 1 second while I'm pulling these up real quick. Sorry, I should have done this before.
I can share if you'd like. The Charter School Testing LLC, you said you wanted to meet them, so I don't know who that is to promote.
That will be Tracy Silva.
Thank you. You want me to share my screen with the
Yes,
contact?
please. If you have them up, I would appreciate that.
I just linked on the agenda, so there you go.
Hi, Tracy.
Hello.
So I think Dr. Reyes and I have both had some conversations with you regarding the support for the testing services and the ELL. But can you give us a brief kind of overview of your company and the different kind of nuances that would be provided with this estimate?
Yes. So the estimate that you have in front of you would be a full contract that would entail everything that you're required to do. We do have a couple of other additional services that could be added on, some data analysis and some professional development, if that looks like something you might be interested in. But this, oh, I'm sorry, look, I do have leadership data systems coaching on there. That's one of them. We also have data coaching for the staff. So this leadership data systems coaching is really for admin, to help them to facilitate and lead the staff towards goals, and um, increasing student achievement. The rest of it is really just keeping you in compliance with all of the assessments that are required, being a K-8 school. And so let me back up for just a second. So I started this business like 25 years ago, as a contracted DTC. And so we currently support 27 charter schools in New Mexico. Most of them are in Albuquerque. We've got some in Santa Fe, some in Gallup, and a couple in Cruces. So we're a team of 3. There's just 3 of us that handle things. We travel all over the place. But we basically handle everything as it relates to assessments and all of your required assessments. The only thing we do not do is come down and actually administer assessments, except in a couple of different areas. Like we do come down and do the dyslexia screener. We do come down and do the kindergarten WIDA screeners. Everything else, we manage it for you. So we help, well, we don't help, but we do all of the uploads to make sure that all of the kids are in there. We talk with your special ed director to make sure that all accommodations are submitted and approved and enabled. We get all of the materials ready. We train the staff. We attend all PED trainings on your behalf. So nobody from the school has to go do it. We go do it, and then we relay the information that you need. Most of the time, it's stuff that we need to know in order to keep you in compliance and to do things the right way and keep up with ever-changing requirements. But if there's something new that the school at a local level needs to do, then we make sure that you're in compliance with everything. I see Jen just asked about gifted screener. Actually, that's not on this proposal, but we would and could take care of the gifted screener for you also. That's another screener that's done at the end of 2nd grade. So,
Okay.
so we just come down and just help support all of this for you and make sure that the biggest thing is to make sure that you're in compliance and make sure that you're giving everything that you need to give. We would need access to, I think you use Power School, correct?
We do.
So we would need access to Power School. We pull directly from there to get most of what we need, and just take care of it all for you. That it takes it off of of the whoever would do it locally, it takes it off of their plate. One thing that we do need though is we do need a liaison at the school, whom we would meet with to create schedules and make sure that everything is ready to go for testing. And that person is responsible for communicating with the staff. So we communicate with that one person. We help create the schedule based on all of your just your school's nuance, your classrooms, your teachers, who's certified, who's not, all of that. And then we rely on that person to pass on that information to the staff. And so we really just have kind of one point of contact. Eventually, we start communicating a little bit more with teachers directly, but at the beginning, it's usually typically just through that liaison, just to keep things streamlined so that our emails don't get lost in their junk folders and things like that.
Okay.
So, and then we offer just a lot of support during on the first day of testing. We will want somebody from our team will be there on the first day. We typically can't be there every day because we support so many schools and we're only 3 people. But in our experience over all of these years, the majority of issues arise on day one of testing, and then they're rectified, and then the rest of the testing schedule flows very well. And then we are always available by phone, and we pride ourselves in answering the phone 24/7. We will usually answer when you call. I would say 95% of the time. And if we don't, you'll get a text message from us immediately that says, we're in a meeting like this, and we'll get right back to you. If we know somebody's actively testing, we'll have somebody on the team that is ready and waiting for those phone calls so that we can support immediately.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
That actually answered a lot of the preemptive questions that I had.
Good.
The one follow-on question that I have for that is how much would the increase be if we added the gifted screener?
The gifted screener would be another 500 to 1,000.
Okay. And is that like per kid or for the specific
Total
test? Or-
total for the contract for all the gifted screen, because um it's administered in a group. So yeah, 500 to 1,000. I would need to look back at my notes to see exactly how many students you have at that grade level.
Okay. That sounds good.
And
Any
so
other?
let me tell you right there about the very first line item, access for ELLs and ELL eligibility. What we do is we go in and we verify all of the students that you have currently identified as ELL. We go in and verify and make sure that everybody has been correctly identified, because the requirements have changed so much over the last couple of years. The passing score has gone down. So sometimes if you've got somebody that's not well versed in it, they may look back at a score prior to the year that the score went down and think that somebody exited. So it gets a little bit complicated. So at the beginning of any contract, we always go in and double check all students and make sure that everybody's correctly identified. And then we will go in monthly and make sure that we catch any new students that have enrolled, make sure that they've been identified correctly, and then make sure that all of the notifications go out to parents that need to be notified at the beginning of the year or within a couple of weeks of enrollment. And we just keep that an ongoing spreadsheet of who's identified as EL. And then when it comes to access testing in the spring, we've got a nice clean list at that point.
Okay. Awesome.
Sure. Does anybody have any questions? So I do have a question for you. Were you already a primary school? You were K-12 before, correct?
So we were K through 11, and then this coming year we were set to add 12th grade, but we wound up removing the high school instead.
Okay, and decided to just go K-8. The only
Correct.
reason I was asking was to make sure that you were familiar with all of these screeners that need to happen, because they do need to happen pretty quickly in the school year.
Yeah, and I actually have a kindergartner and a first grader, so my kindergartner just went through the kindergarten testing. Same with my first grader for the dyslexia. So I'm familiar at least with those two
Okay.
out of all of them.
There's a lot that happens really quickly,
Yeah.
so you got to kind of hit the ground running.
Yeah.
I'm available for questions from anybody.
I don't think I have any more questions. Christine, do we want to vote on approved amounts, or vote first to do a subcommittee for the contracts? I'm unsure of which thing has to happen first.
So today, today what we're looking at is the budgetary contracts or statements that we have, and then we can work through the contracts with each of the vendors if we can create the subcommittee, if the board will allow the board chairs to do that on their behalf within the parameters of those figures. Like, we're not adding to the budget, we're just in talks with the vendors to make sure that we are getting all of the services we need in the timely manner that we need them. Tracy, remind me, is it 60 days that a student, once they're enrolled, we test them within 60 to 90 days, right?
For
Or
ELL,
special ed, ELL,
for ELL, no, it's 30 days.
30 days, okay.
Yeah, we've got to get all of the WIDA screeners done by the first 30 days and notifications out to parents of either continued ELL services or initial ELL services. All of that has to happen pretty quickly. And then as they come in during the school year, that needs to be done within about 2 weeks.
Okay.
So we've got we've been doing this for so long. We've got some really good processes in place. So we would work with your registrar on a Google sheet that when you get new students, they would just add them to the sheet, and then we would follow through with them. And I believe Dr. Pena does kind of something similar. So we might be able to utilize the same sheet to just make sure that we grab all of those new students and follow them through with all of the beginning steps that they need before as they get enrolled.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I guess the motion is to approve the contract and negotiations by the co-chairs.
Well, we can't approve the contract because that was an estimate.
Right,
We'll just have to
estimate.
approve the amount.
And then
But
review.
yeah, with the subcommittee to do the actual contract for the estimate. But I would like to add the gifted screener as well, because I know we do have several students that fall within that category. And so I would rather, if we're allowed, Karen, please advise, if we could add the $1,000 that was mentioned to the total to then vote on basically a cap of 19,296 and 25 cents.
So let me just be clear about what the gifted screener is the screener is given to everybody at that grade level. And then based on the results of that screener, some students may be referred to a SAT team for full on gifted assessment, gifted diagnostics. So that's just the screener that's required by the state. So, and I apologize for leaving that off. I know Dr. Reyes and I were talking, both of us I was getting ready to leave town and she was already out of town and she had a meeting that night and I just kind of put something together real quick. So I apologize for leaving that out. I'm glad that Dr. Pena noticed that. But I will get you a new estimate that includes that. And then that would be exactly what the contract would be for. So I can also send the contract should you choose to move forward. And then the way that we do it is we break up the full contract amount into 12 monthly installments.
Oh,
So in terms of motions, co-chairs, I think that the best thing would be to move to approve this proposal designating the co-chairs to finalize and sign a contract. So you don't have to bring it back to the board. And you should have not to exceed a certain amount because we can't go by this amount. Ms. Silver expressed that it wouldn't be more than 1,000. So maybe you want to say something like move to approve this proposal, adding gifted screener not to exceed $20,000.
I think that's fair.
And and designate the co-chairs to finalize the contract. I think you want to avoid subcommittee because you really need to designate somebody to finalize and sign.
Sign the contracts.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try and repeat that motion as you stated it.
Good
Please
luck.
tell me if I am not doing it correctly. But I would like then to motion to approve this proposal, not to, with all of the services that are in there, not to exceed 20,000, while designating the co-chairs to finalize the official contract for signature. Did I get it?
Yeah, and just the not to exceed is so that you can include the gifted screener as
Yes.
well. Just want to make sure
Include the gift.
that's
Yes, thank you.
clear.
Um,
Yeah, that looks good.
okay, thank you.
Okay, I will second the motion.
Okay, do a roll call. Dr. Reyes,
Yes,
Angel Rivera,
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes. Uh, Call resulted in unanimous approval.
thank
Okay.
you. Tracy, thank you for your time and your willingness to help us through this.
Sure, no problem. So should I send the new estimate to you, Dr. Reyes, along with the contract?
Yes, that would be great. And then I'll
Okay.
share it with Angel for our signatures.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
ladies. It was
Thank
nice
you.
to meet everybody. We look
So
forward to
I'm
working
gonna
with you.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put you back in the attendees through
Okay,
cyberspace.
thank you.
Thank you.
And then for JMP, it's Dr. Pena. Where'd she go?
Mhm.
Jen. There she is. If you would mind promoting her.
I'm doing so.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. And Tracy, thanks for jumping in on that. I hadn't thought about it until you were talking about the screeners. Because that is something we offer. I'll tell you though that it's going to be, she's a better price than I am for the gifted screeners. But we do offer, if she does the screening and then she tells us which students, passed the screener, we can move forward from that. So that is something that we can, and we can kind of tag team a little bit on that as well.
Okay. All right, so Karen has the quote up here. We'll kind of go through the same drill. So we have special education services, data analysis and state reporting, and then the reporting extras, which includes the CRDC, master scheduling, and PS security support. Now, it was my understanding, kind of as we walk through this, is the special education support services, although it's a really high number, we're only going to get billed for what we use. It will not just be we pay you $70,400.
Exactly. Right. So for both, and that's for both the special ed and those reporting extras. Those are both billed hourly.
Okay.
So sometimes with some of our clients, they don't need the extras. They do the CRDC on their own. They do their own master scheduling.
Mhm.
A lot of other clients really needed help with that. And it's a little it's outside the scope of our typical contract. And so we do charge, we offer it, but we'll charge hourly for it.
Okay.
The data analysis and state reporting is a monthly, like what Tracy was saying, we just take a lump amount and then divide that by 12.
Okay. That sounds good. So I'm gonna let you go through kind of the same spiel that Tracy went through, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. So the special ed support services, when we had spoken, you had mentioned kind of an overhaul of the system, which would be coming in and providing a lot of support. Going in, making sure we put in our systems into place, making sure that, we kind of make sure everything is organized, make sure everything is being reported correctly, make sure that we have documents for everything that we're looking for. And then we would basically run the special ed program. So I don't contract out related services, but I would coordinate that for you. So I would work with either CES or TalkPath Live or whatever organization you use for related services. We would have someone, I do have someone in Las Cruces. I'll visit about once every other month, but I do have someone that's local down there that would be able to be there on a weekly basis to be able to help make sure that things are moving along. We would handle any of the state types of issues. And so if there's when it comes time for like the state reporting parts for the special ed pieces, we would be able to put those, make sure everything is in line. For your 7th and 8th graders, making sure their transition stuff is in place. All of those, we work with whoever is your MLSS and SAT person to be able to make sure initial evaluations go through. That is another service we offer as well, actually, is doing the MLSS and SAT and kind of keeping that paperwork in line. So depending on if you have a strong program for that. But those are all things that we are able to support with. And again, those are just billed as you use the time, we bill that time for you. And then the data analysis and state reporting. We have, you would have someone on site who would be your primary person in charge of doing the, taking care of Power School and doing those things. We would have a one-on-one with them once a week to be able to check in and make sure that they're, make sure they're moving toward the right things that they need to do. We send out a weekly newsletter with guidance, links, how-to guides, those sorts of things. And then we also have twice a week a 30-minute PD that we ask all of our clients to join, and we teach them how to do different tasks. So between the PD and then our one-on-one sessions and their newsletters, that's really how we make sure that all of your data reporting is done correctly. And then we talked about the extras, like I said, if there's CRDC, master scheduling, things that like we kind of have to go into, revamping your course codes or something like that in Power School, things like that. We charge you hourly for. What kinds of questions do you guys have?
So I do have one, and only because I'm not quite as familiar with the SPED services, but what is the difference between what you guys are providing and what our on-site SPED staff does?
So your on-site special ed staff would be the one providing services to kids.
Okay.
They're the ones in the classroom doing all of the, like the special ed teacher things. We can support with, we can be the LEA representative and make sure that your IEPs are being run correctly. We can help with drafting the IEPs, making sure that's done correctly. We coordinate with your diagnosticians to make sure that reevals and things like that are happening. So we do like the oversight of the program, and we would, we, again, just like Tracy mentioned, we have systems in place. Same thing with the new students coming in where we can kind of share a Google Doc and we can see what information we have coming in, so we're not doubling the work. But being able to make sure that all of that coordination piece is done, we're overseeing the special ed teachers, but we're not providing the service to the kids directly.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Of course.
And only because I mentioned it on the last time, how do you guys do your billing? I know it's, on an as needed basis as you expend them. Is it an invoice every 30 days, monthly, or just as you like weekly? How do you guys do yours?
So we do it monthly, and we do run through ACEs as well, because that allows the procurement issues to go away.
Okay.
So and we can do it. There are some schools, because if you use different buckets of money, you might need to have two different ones. So we have some schools that we actually have two separate invoices. We have one for state reporting and we have one for special ed.
Okay.
And so, or if it's okay to keep them all on one, we just do one invoice. Either one works.
Okay.
And those are typically done, you'll get an invoice early in the month for the month prior.
Okay. I do not have any further questions.
Okay. And we can do, like I said, with the, with the gifted piece, and it can kind of roll into that special ed because it's all kind of the same. At least from my perspective, it falls into the same area, but if you guys need it separated out for funding purposes, that's fine too. But if Tracy were to do the screening, we can do the follow-up all the way up to the eligibility, and the IEP meeting if needed on the gifted pieces.
Dr.
Okay.
Pena, that was going to be my question. If we, could we split those services with you and Tracy's group? So, because we do want that comprehensive special education services to support the teachers, make sure we're in compliance, get the IEPs done in a timely manner, and train our special education personnel. Could we sort of split those services between the two groups?
Absolutely. I would say
Work with us on that. Okay.
Tracy's cost for the screener is going to be lower than mine, so I would
Okay.
probably do that one. But then once she has the results of the screener, she can pass those along to us and we can move to the next level there. That's not a
Perfect.
problem at all. And she and I are fine, same thing like when new students come in, we check to see if there's, their ELL status, their special ed status, because frankly, you get correct information from families, maybe 80% of the time. You're lucky.
Well, sometimes you can have a double, right? You can have a triple, you can have a gifted ESL,
Absolutely.
special ed. So yeah.
Yeah, and I've got one that's coming from one of my other Las Cruces schools that's coming and enrolled for 6th grade. So, and she's also twice exceptional as well. So
Mm.
we can definitely do all of those things, and all of this, I can be very flexible with, like I said, I can kind of roll gifted independent. It's really dependent on how much you want me to split it out for your funding purposes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Dr. Pena. I really appreciate your knowledge and support of our programs and doing the best that we can for our students and our staff and
Absolutely.
families, because families, right?
That's the most important part. It is.
Right.
Okay, I had one more question, as I was sitting here staring at the page. So the quantities listed there are hours. And I know it's only billed as incurred, but what happens if we go over these hour amounts?
If you go over, we can make an adjustment to the PO. So, so we will, we will run, my business managers will run updates every month and kind of tell us where we are. So if we're starting to get close, we can get back in touch with you and we can say, hey, we're getting close on this. We probably need to increase the hours on, it would be the special ed hours would be the one we would increase.
Right.
The other stuff is you really don't hit people will hit the 10 hours on the reporting extras maybe, and the data analysis is a straight thing. We do offer more support with the state reporting. So I gave you guys something assuming that you have someone on site who will be able to do most of the major functions. But then we're going to give them a pretty significant amount of help. And because you're new, and kind of clean up the system a little bit. So, so those costs, if you do have someone on site, those costs would go down over, maybe next year, for example. But special ed services, usually it just kind of depends. And we can also, part of that time we can use to train your staff, be able to get your staff more competent and ready to be able to do some of these things themselves, so we can build some of that capacity for them, which again just makes us have to do less work, which gives them a little bit more. So very, very flexible, and we just want to be able to work closely with your administrator to make sure that and with you guys to be able to make sure that we're addressing the needs that you have.
Okay, and because I'm still fairly new at all of this, so trying to figure out the whole RFP process, it's very different from the government world in which I typically work. If we do wind up having to do a PO increase, does that require a whole other RFP, or is it a simple just paperwork change because we've already approved this?
Because we're going through ACES holds procurement. So anything
Okay.
over 60,000 in a school would have to go to bid. But because ACES holds the procurement, we're able to get that. You would just send them an adjusted an adjusted PO, and then we invoice ACES invoices you, you pay ACES pays us.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
And so it kind of is and you get a better rate for going through them too.
Okay,
So it's a win-win.
awesome. Do the two of you have any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Okay, all right.
Thanks,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Pena.
I appreciate your time in all this.
Absolutely.
I have a kiddo trying to get in my office. Okay, so I'm gonna try and phrase the same as I did before for this one. So I'm gonna make a motion to approve the proposal for not to exceed, we'll say 103,000 to make it easy, with the co-chairs finalizing all of the contract paperwork and signatures. Is that right, Karen? Okay, all right. So now we just need a second.
I'll second that motion,
Perfect.
and I'll take a roll call. Dr. Reyes,
Yes.
Angel Rivera,
Yes,
Linnell Pahi, yes. Motion passes 3-0.
awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. We
So
look forward to working with you. And same, if you want to send over your contract to Dr. Reyes, we'll get moving on all the specifics for that.
I will let ACES know and they'll send it over for you.
Oh, even better. Thank you.
Perfect.
Shannon, I'm going to send you back to the attendees. Thanks.
Sounds good. Thanks, Karen. Nice to see you too.
Thanks.
Okay, and then our third one is DMH Law, who for Sam Gonzalez, to talk about compliance, board support, charter renewal services, all of those things.
Hello.
Hi, Sam.
Hey. Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Do you want me to I can just go through my contract or
Yeah, that would
Um,
be great. So that it's quite a bit.
you tell me? How can I-
Synopsis, kind of like everyone else did.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Sam Gonzalez. I work for Dan Hill, who's an attorney out of Albuquerque who supports charter schools. And so I do work for him, but then I also do contract services through his law firm. And that's primarily, it honestly runs the gamut in terms of charter school support. But my specialty is, I would say, probably charter renewal and governing council support. And so, and also actually the third thing that I have here just so happens to be another area where I excel, which is thought partnering and supporting new administrators. Um, and so I will just go through this and please let me know if you have any questions. And so my thought, the way that I work and operate is that when someone hires me, I essentially just go all in and you can call me, text me, email me, I'm texting with Angel in the week, like whatever you need. I'm there to essentially ensure that we're making progress and getting things done. There's a lot of time sensitivity around the charter renewal process. And so I will be there with your board and school leadership every step of the way to include, comprehensive writing support services, meeting with various stakeholders within the community to make sure that we're writing um, an excellent application that tells the story and arc of your school over the past 4 years. In addition to that, there's a meeting or a site visit that comes with the Charter Schools Division. I'll help you get set up for that. And all the various stakeholders that they interview during that time. There's a process where you'll go through and you'll present in front of the PEC. I'll help you get prepared for that. There's a presentation you need to put together, choosing your members of the community that you want to speak, so on and so forth. And then after that, this year for you is going to be especially interesting or new or different, I guess I would say, because you're going to be entering into a new performance framework. And so there's options that you can choose. And so figuring out which option is going to be the best for your school. I support basically until the contract is signed. And so, I'll help you figure out the best option, help you work through any of the templates that are required, and then any of like the material changes that you'd like to make to your contract, I can help with that. I have very good relationships with both the Charter Schools Division and the Public Education Commission, so I can help liaise in any way. If we have questions or any technical assistance that we need, I can provide it. And if I don't know the answer, then I will go find it for you. And so what I try to provide for renewal is a very smooth, comprehensive process. And so far, it's been so far so good. Any questions on renewal? Okay, so then in terms of governing council support, I see, hi Karen, I can provide something very similar to what Karen is doing for you now, in terms of hosting your meetings. I know that you're working to get Zoom set up. And so once that happens, I'll be in attendance of your monthly meetings, running your meetings. We can provide secretarial services. to include agendas, minutes, your Open Meetings Act resolution that needs to be done and completed annually. And then the other thing is preparation and submission of any of the notifications and amendments to your authorizer. The one thing I didn't add, but I think I have somewhere in here that's like general consulting services is there. So there's a portal now called Epicenter. There's lots of information that is, there's a timeline in which you're supposed to submit various compliance related pieces. You're going to submit your renewal application in there. Any of the notifications and amendments, they all go into Epicenter. When you calculate your mission specific goals, that's another task that goes into Epicenter. So I can handle all of that information. So I can prepare it, complete it, and also submit it into there to ensure that things are timely. And then I can also provide like additional support, and like if you have questions, like OMA related questions, I train governing councils. So Dan and I train governing councils together. So if there's any services related to that or questions that you may have, I can provide it. And then in addition, you have a brand new administrator. Congratulations, Alexis. And so that job, stepping into that superintendent role is massive. It's a massive and exciting undertaking. And so in terms of thought partnering and general consulting support for school leadership, once she's reported to the state as the head administrator, the flurry of emails will ensue and it's going to be overwhelming. And so trying to figure out what goes where, how to handle and navigate different PED divisions and departments, figuring out how to complete the various tasks like your attendance improvement plan or your dash plan or all the various plans that PED requires, all the regulatory stuff. I can both thought partner, write, help, support, to just make sure that it's not so overwhelming. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and then we've also talked about, so I also have included trips to the school. Those are pretty much unlimited. Just if you want me down there, tell me. I'll come travel to you. And then I'll also be meeting at least weekly with your head administrator to just make sure that she feels supported, and to just make sure we can develop our own system for just me supporting. I said utilize me. I think I said utilize the heck out of me. So that's essentially what I'm here for.
Awesome.
And so I'm happy to answer any questions.
I think reading through the contract, you've already preemptively answered some of the questions we asked the other ones about invoice, monthly total amounts. It isn't over 60,000, so it doesn't have to go through ACEs. I've read this through a couple times, and I don't think I have any additional questions from the scope of what you'd be able to provide us, and the recommendations that we've gotten. Oh, I lied. I have one more. See, I even highlighted it.
Oh, good.
So this one has it being signed by Alexis Black and Dan Hill. Is Alexis the right person for that? Does the head administrator sign this contract?
Typically, in my experience, the head administrator signs my contract, but if you have a different process, like in your financial policies, then I'm happy to sign that. But typically, it's the head administrator.
Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I just want to make sure that was accurate.
And then Dan signs, well, like while I'm providing the service, it's his firm, so he signs on my behalf.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anybody else have any other questions? No?
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam. I appreciate the rundown, and also the speediness. I think that's the right word of expeditiousness, of putting all this together, and being willing to step in, because this is a very pivotal year for our charter. So I will make a motion then to approve Sam's contract as is and as written um, for charter renewal services, governing council support, and thought partnering. Karen, do I have to say how much it is?
I don't think you have to. I think it was already said in the record, but and it's a contract, not a proposal. So we did the others because you were going to send
Got
someone
it.
off to sign. But I think it was
Okay,
already
I'll leave
stated.
it.
I don't think it needs to be in the motion.
Okay, thank you. I'll leave that as is in. So we just need a second.
I'll second the motion.
Sorry.
Okay.
Or you can second the motion, Linnell.
Okay, I second the motion. Okay, we'll take a roll call. Dr. Reyes,
Yes.
Angel Rivera,
Yes.
Linnell Pahi, yes. Motion passes through.
Okay. Thank you, Sam.
Sam.
Thank you.
All right. That is it for other contracted services. So the next item on the agenda are admin comment. Oh,
I just didn't want to send Sam, and I just feel weird to just, but it's okay. She's gone
oh,
now.
sorry. Thank you, Sam. Okay, so admin comments. Alexis, I'm not sure if you have any other comments to add at this point.
No, I did send an email to parents if there's any parents out there that we are going to have a parent meeting tomorrow at 5:30 for the K-5 at the Tailshore building, and then at 6:30 for the 6 through 8. So hopefully parents can show up, and it will also be online. There was a link in the email if they want to join virtually.
Perfect. Okay, I think that wraps it up for governing council business. Board comments. Any comments for anyone?
Angel, I want to thank you for all of the work that you've done in organizing all of the paperwork and the contracts and working together back and forth with emails and texts. And Alexis, thank you for taking this on and jumping right in. So I think we will do the best that we have for parents and students and families. And I'm excited about partnering together and being involved in this endeavor.
Anything, Lyle?
Yeah, I would like to say something, both as a board member and as a parent. I do have a child who is in the 9th grade at Explorer, so this change has definitely impacted us, us as a family and our friends as well. You don't know how great that is until your child comes back and tells you, comes back from a birthday party with other Explore children and finding out the day that the school is no longer moving forward. Being a board member, and a parent is hard. These decisions are hard. And I just want to just take the time to express my gratitude for all the hardworking teachers at all grade levels. Just wanted to let you know that you do impact each child daily. I definitely have been in conversations with teachers all throughout the time that he's been there, and there at times, corrective action was needed, and I did my best as a parent to be supportive and held them accountable because of your guidance. My child's taking with him the knowledge, the courage to speak up, to use his words correctly, and that really is a reflection of the foundation that you all built there. And so, I know that each teacher that worked with us has impacted my son's life as well as being a parent as well. And I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate everything that you all have done. And I wish you all continued success, whether it be at Explore or moving on into another school. That's all I have to say.
Okay. And then I've got a quick two things. The first is also to thank all the teachers. You guys have been great. All the staff members, you guys have bent over backwards as we work through this transition. And I know we're asking a lot of you, but we really do appreciate all of your effort and everything that you have done for the school. I'm very hopeful going forward that we're building the best place for our community and for our kiddos. So that being the first one, and the second portion, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge all of our Alliop folks and just to say thank you. We wouldn't have gotten to the place that we are now without your support for the last 4 years. I know there's some consternation that has happened, and that makes me sad. But we truly do appreciate your support and your partnership over the last several years. And I did not want to end this contract without saying thank you. I think that's it for board comments. So we will move on to the next agenda item for public comments. If anyone in the audience has a comment they would like to say to the board, please go ahead and raise your hand or put your name in the chat and Karen can promote you.
Dr. Hull has her hand raised. Dr. Hull, you can unmute yourself and make your comment.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Unfortunately, my time as head administrator at Explore Academy Las Cruces concludes today. Amidst the many challenges this year and the current unprecedented shift, I want to shine a light on the accomplishments this year. These successes are a testament to our unwavering focus on doing whatever it takes for kids. We worked tirelessly to cultivate a vibrant, supportive learning environment. We obtained a grant through PEC in which Mr. Zapata successfully led the implementation of a house system that deepened connections and belonging. Our renewed advisory program centered on gratitude, relationships, attitude, scholarship, and purpose significantly enriched our students' growth. We injected energy into every morning with motivation at breakfast, where students led games, made announcements, and filled the space with dancing. Parent surveys reflected this culture, ranking student enjoyment as one of the top 2 categories. We held monthly town halls and distributed weekly newsletters to keep our community engaged. We transformed returns from breaks into big wows, surprising students with welcome back themes. We expanded our community networks, attending local farmers markets and reaching out to businesses to partner. We worked with the police department to educate students on dangers of vaping and DACC to get all of our 11th graders signed up for dual credit courses. We notably decreased serious discipline problems, fostering a safer and more positive learning environment. We met our school mission goal, and our excellence was recognized by the Charter School Division, which commended us on having the cleanest site visit of the year among all charter schools. We tailored our core exams to better fit our needs. We launched a math tutoring program that achieved significant increases in seminar passing rates across gifted, ELS, and SPED, underscoring our commitment to equitable instruction. We created new traditions like our quarterly honor roll awards, which packed our school with families to celebrate our kids. Leading Explore Academy Las Cruces has been a profound honor and privilege, a role I have wanted since I fought for the school in 2019. While the board's recent decision regarding next year's leadership is deeply disheartening and unconscionable, my commitment to students' best interests remains absolute. Every decision I've made, every initiative we've launched has been unequivocally for kids. House system, leadership electives, for kids, honor roll, for kids, morning motivation, for kids, big wows, for kids, dragon's grasp, for kids, flavor focus, for kids, covering classes, for kids, discipline standards, for kids, leadership opportunities for kids, math tutoring for kids, community partnerships for kids, town halls and newsletters for kids. Choosing to take Explore Academy in a different, unclear direction without the support I feel that they need is just not for kids. Thank you.
I see Melissa Hernandez promoting her.
Can you hear me?
We can.
So I'm here with a heavy heart and a sense of profound disappointment regarding recent board actions, especially jeopardizing my license as your district test coordinator. I am particularly concerned with the lack of transparency surrounding issues that have occurred at Explorer Academy Las Cruces. More importantly, I would encourage you as board members to not only sit on this board, but to become active members of the community in the way that myself and other members of the Ally Op team. In my free time, I do a lot of community activism. I don't recall seeing anyone from your school campus or from this board during the shooting at Young Park trying to support victims and their families. I don't recall getting phone calls from this board asking us to make changes to so that we could support the community during such a tragic event. But yet, members of ALIOP and I, those were the first things that we thought of in ways to support your community. I'm disappointed and I'm disgusted that feelings towards my boss and his wife have clouded your judgment against every staff member of LAOP. And I hope that as you move forward with next school year, that you're able to have the support that the students deserve. But I know wholeheartedly you're going to remember the support that's lacking next year because you're not going to have a team that truly cared about not just the students at your school, but your community. Thank you.
There was another hand raise. Oh, it went, I don't know. It's AT. So when I promote you, please introduce yourself. Hmm. Initials AT, if you could please unmute. Oh, you did. Introduce yourself, please. Hmm. If you're speaking, we can't hear you. Let me try. Let's see. I don't see any microphone on your screen. Maybe, no. Meanwhile, if anyone else would like to make a comment, please raise your hand or put your name in the chat. I don't see any others except for this one. Oh, nope, sorry. Co-chairs, would you like me to promote Brittany Topmiller while AT gets his microphone situation worked out?
Yes, please.
Oh, she went away. Let's try and see what. Miss Topmiller's hand went down, and so I don't know if that was an error. I'm gonna ask her to promote to panel, and she can accept or decline that. So I'm not sure what happened there. Oh, and I also don't know when, but Mr. Moore is in the audience.
I think he joined about 10, 15 minutes ago.
Okay.
You can promote him too if you'd like.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't notice that he had arrived. So Ms. Pahi, you may want to just note that Mr. Moore arrived at certainly after the last decision because he didn't vote for that. So Ms. Topmiller, that was an accident. And then Addison Tackics. Addison, if you want to try leaving the meeting and coming back in, see if your microphone reconnects, you could try that. But we still see you on the panel. We could see you when you had your video on, but we could not hear anything. I'm assuming you can hear us, but we could not hear you. Or alternatively, you could call into the meeting. Let me see what that phone is. So Mr. Tackics, I just put the phone number in the chat here, and then I'm going to add the webinar ID if you'd like to try calling in, since it seems you're having technical issues with your microphone.
And Karen will, he's doing that. Mr. Moore can stay in the audience today. He's requested to stay there today for the rest of the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Tackics says we can move along, so I guess he's going to sacrifice his comments,
Well, he
and I'll
did.
move him.
Do you want to read his comment that he put in there?
Oh, sure. For the record, wanted to express dismay at the non-renewal for our former leader who did so much for our school this year. And so I'll move Mr. Tackics back to the attendees now.
Thank you.
And I'm going to close the chat since that's not to be used for meeting. And I don't see any more hands raised or names in the chat.
Okay. Thank you everybody for your time today. I know we kind of had a weird meeting time, trying to make everything work. This should be the last of our special sessions. So our next meeting should be on July 9th at our regularly scheduled time, 6 p.m. Due to the changeover for the contracts, those who typically get meeting invites will be getting a new meeting invite once they're set up. Once we have everything put in place for agendas, those will all get all those locations will get sent out as well, so everybody has the correct information. I will make a motion to adjourn today's meeting at 4:11 p.m.
I will second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Bye.